Okay, today's lesson is on gustar and verbs like gustar. The verb gustar means to please. You may have heard this verb used on programs like Dora or other TV shows. It's usually used in the context of me gusta. Me gusta chocolate. That would mean I like chocolate. So gustar and words like gustar. There are a couple of rules when using verbs like this. Number one, they are used with indirect object pronouns. So IO stands for indirect object pronouns. Just a reminder, in English grammar, an indirect object is a word that answers to whom or for whom in a sentence. So for example, I read the book to Sally. Sally would be my indirect object. And if I said I read the book to her, then her would be my indirect object pronoun. Because remember, a pronoun is just a word that takes the place of the noun. So the indirect object pronouns that we're going to use in Spanish are me, te, le, nos, and les. Me, te, le, nos, and les. I'm going to give you the meanings of those words. Me means me, as you could probably figure out. So me means me. Te means you. Le means him or her, or you formal. So le means him or her, or it could also mean you formal, because remember we have a formal you in Spanish, usted. Nos means us, and les means them. Okay, rule number 2 is the format for gustar in words like gustar. The first thing we're going to use is an indirect object pronoun, so we'll have our word me, te, le, nos, or les first. Then we will have a form of the verb gustar, so a conjugation of it like gusta or gustan. And then you will have the noun or the verb, which we call infinitives in Spanish, that is being liked. So me gusta el chocolate. You see the format there? Indirect object pronoun me, gusta, a form of gustar, and then chocolate, the noun that is pleasing to me, that I like. Me gusta el chocolate. And number 3 are just 3 other words that are going to function the same exact way as gustar. We have fascinar, encantar, and molestar. The meanings of those words, fascinar, you can probably figure out by looking at it. It means to fascinate. Encantar means to love. And this is going to be your generic love, like you love watching football or you love eating French fries. Okay, this is not going to be the same kind of love like you love your mom and dad or your siblings or your boyfriend and girlfriend. We're going to use different verbs for that kind of love. So, encantar, to love, it's just things that you like a lot. Molestar means to bother. Okay, our next step is we want to conjugate the verb gustar. Remember, again, it doesn't mean to like, it actually means to please. And this will all make sense by the end of the lecture. So let's conjugate this in the present tense. You should know how to do this by now. Gusto, gustas, gusta, gustamos, and gustan. Now, what's unique about gustar and verbs like gustar is that we're only going to use the 3rd and the 5th conjugation, gusta and gustan. Because the format of these sentences, we are going to reference things that are pleasing to us. And something is either going to be singular or plural. So if the thing that is pleasing to us is singular, we would say me gusta. If the thing that is pleasing to us is plural, then we would say me gustan. And I will show you the illustrations of that on the next page. Me gusta el libro. Okay, in English we would say I like the book. But this sentence, in order to understand it in English, we have to actually translate it backwards. It actually says, the book is pleasing to me. So the book is our subject of the sentence. And our subject is what controls the conjugation of our verb, gustar. So that's why we use the singular conjugation, gusta. And then me is the indirect object pronoun. That is to whom the book is pleasing. So if we read it backwards, the book is pleasing to me. So your conjugation of your verb has nothing to do with me. It has to do with libro. So let's look at the next example. If it's los libros, okay, now we have a plural subject. Again, you kind of have to work these sentences backwards. So we will use the plural conjugation of our verb gustar, which is gustan. Okay, we're going to use that an ending. So now it says the books are pleasing to me. And again, it doesn't matter if that first word is me, te, le, nos, or les. That's the indirect object pronoun, so that's not going to control the conjugation of the verb. For example, te gusta el libro. You see how gustar is still conjugated gusta? Because libro is the subject and it's singular. So the book is pleasing to you if we use te gusta. And if we want to say the books are pleasing to you, te gustan los libros. And again, the common speech in English, we would just say you like the book, te gusta el libro. But to understand the way it conjugates, I just want you to know the literal translation is the book is pleasing to you. Now, we also need to know how to form a question. If te gusta el libro means you like the book, how would we say do you like the book? How would we ask someone? Well, it's very simple. In Spanish, all we have to do is add question marks. So, te gusta el libro, you like the book. If we add question marks to it and just change the inflection of our voice and say, te gusta el libro? Now it means, do you like the book? And that is all we have to do to form a question. That is today's lesson on gustar and verbs like gustar. If you are in My Spanish 1 class, your assignment to follow up with this lesson is on page 145 in your textbook, página 145, actividad 1. Buena suerte.